Hey people, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And
this is
season
season
4
4 of
Pero
Pero Let Me Tell You. Oh no, that's it.
Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, oh my god. Oh, we're gonna get drunk already?
We bypassed Christmas. Yeah, it's St. Patrick's Day already. Yeah.
Forget St. Valentine's
We're
Day?
halfway to next year already.
Oh, but that means that I missed the Dua Lipa concert.
Oh, well, when is the Dua Lipa concert?
February.
Oh, well, it was great.
It was. Okay, I had a good time.
Yeah.
Okay,
why
clearly.
would you have missed a concert?
It's true. I was levitating.
Right.
Right.
And there are new rules. Anyway, welcome to episode 180.
180, yes.
180.
Finally.
And this goes out before we
And I like that
get
you
any
knew.
further. 180. This goes out to a good friend of mine, Javi. Javi.
Are we Casey Kasem now?
No, because it's a friend of mine, Javi, and he listens to us religiously. So,
Thanks for
Javi,
listening,
what's up?
Javi. Thank you for listening.
Anyway, so yeah, no, it's Halloween.
No, yeah. Halloween this weekend, and that's it. Then it's time to eat and eat and eat.
And eat.
And eat.
Y después a meter dieta.
Well, yes, that's what January is for.
Yeah. How is everybody? Welcome to Pero Let Me Tell You. I don't even know what I'm saying.
But I want to watch you try.
Se me enredó la lengua.
I saw that happening.
I saw that happening in real time.
And I was like, let's see where this ends.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pero Let Me Tell You, episode 180. How is everybody this
such
weekend?
delightful elocution. It's very, Ms. Manners etiquette.
I was about to say that it sounds like the SNL parody of Sweaty Balls.
Oh, when they do the NPR.
But it's not a good week for Alec Baldwin.
Ooh, yeah, no.
So we shouldn't go there.
Let's not.
Oye, qué mala suerte esa.
Seriously.
Did you hear? Like, now they've done the investigation. Or they're investigating. Like, it's the person who was in charge of it.
Well, because it's a chain of command before it gets to him.
Apparently, the whole chain of command failed. And the thing was that there was one live bullet in it. Because it was a real gun.
But, okay, this is what I don't understand. Don't Hollywood Productions, for those of you who don't know, Alec Baldwin accidentally shot a production assistant, I believe it was.
Yes.
Killing her, I don't know if instantly, but definitely killing her.
And do you know how the other
and
person
injuring? How did the other person get injured?
The bullet went through her.
Shit.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
So apparently, I didn't know this, but then again, I don't really have much experience on movie sets.
This is true, yeah.
In some movies, they have real guns.
But they fill them with blanks. No,
they fill them with blanks, and right, there is a certain protocol, and there are gatekeepers,
right
to this, but this had one bullet in it.
And that's all it takes. So
they don't know at this point if it was really a negligent from the person who was in charge of that. If this was on purpose.
There's a whole investigation. There's a whole investigation that has to happen.
But it's obviously it's a tragedy because somebody died. So it's that poor lady, her and her family, but then also him because that's like major.
That's trauma. That's trauma on top of trauma and on top of trauma. And I don't care how much olive oil Hilaria makes him. That's not going to make it go away.
For a second, I forgot about the Hilaria debacle.
Yes.
Hilaria.
And
her family in Spain.
From Boston.
España.
Her Bostonian Spaniard family.
My family lives in España. But no.
I think the saddest part about the whole Alec Baldwin thing is obviously the death of a person in that manner, right? Because obviously it was an accident, as far as we know. But also how many ghouls are out there.
Oh, including Lauren Boebert.
I don't know who that is.
She's that little feisty Republican in Colorado.
Is that the one who was like,
she was talking crap.
She was talking crap. Yeah. I mean, I forget what exactly they said, but yeah, it's like a person just died accidentally.
Don't care.
The body's not even cold yet.
They don't care.
No, they don't. But those are the people. Like as I say, so many good people die every day, and yet, well, there they are.
Well, okay, I wouldn't also say that.
I'm not gonna
say that. It's because that That's not the route I like to take these things.
Well, I didn't say I wanted to go do it. I'm just saying,
That is not the route I want to take these things, so I would not say that.
Aneurysms are natural.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, stop. Edit that out. But no, I mean, it's just if a situation where somebody died is not enough for you to practice discretion.
Just shut up.
And respect and not make it about yourself and your agenda.
Right.
And trying to fulfill, whatever it is you're trying to prove. Like she and Don.
And many people. Don Jr.
Jr. He had a t-shirt that says "Guns don't kill people."
Alec Baldwin does. Yeah.
And they put it up for sale. Like, that's tacky and classless. But
what do we expect?
Right. The bar is set so low that
if they don't do it, then they're classy.
Yeah. That it's like, whatever. So.
It's a race to the bottom.
Pretty much. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I actually, speaking of
racing to the bottom,
classless.
Oh, okay.
Did you hear about, and she's from Miami, the girl, I think her name is Jane Rivera. She's like an Instagram model.
Oh my god, this was one of my topics that I wanted to bring up.
She's like an Instagram
She's like a fitness model on TikTok. I didn't know her name, but yes.
And she posed these like super sexy pictures in front of her dad's casket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was on my list of
topics. For listeners who
yeah.
haven't
we'll post
looked it up. Google Jane Rivera or just Google girl poses in front of dad's
influencer
casket.
Probably
or influencer. Yeah. What I think is just, I don't understand where people's brains are at.
Here's the thing. I've been to some funerals where people are taking pictures in front of the casket. Okay?
You have?
Yes, and it's weird, and I don't get it, and I don't know why they do it. But I'm gonna asterisk this, right? But they're taking a picture in front of the casket, like just standing in front of it. Very solemn, very whatever. Not a thing I want to remember, popping up on my Facebook memories 6 years later, but fine. But that's not what this girl did.
Well,
this girl did like a photo shoot.
Well, I think that if they would have, anybody who sees the picture you're talking about, I mean, I wouldn't do that. I've never seen that, but it is what it is. But the thing is that her pictures were sexy.
Right, her pictures.
I mean, did you see the picture where she's doing like a side pose with like one of her legs up, one of her?
Oh no, I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, it's this one.
Oh my god, hold on, I'm looking it up because I have it here on my.
Look at this one. She has like the sexy model pose, like that one.
My favorite is the one where she's praying between her cleavage.
Right, like she's showing her.
Also,
butt.
Who wears that to your father's funeral?
The person who would pose that way in front of her. This is
true. Fair enough.
So, I mean. Okay, wait. This one's pretty bad too. Like, why would anybody take that picture? Because the thing, listeners,
right? He's looking at other.
I googled the picture to show Ishmael,
right?
But now I see this picture of this lady with her two small children.
More like what I was saying.
With Ohio mom poses with dead father to warn of dangers of drug addiction. That is not the way you do that.
There are many other ways.
Traumatize your children.
Right.
Now I'm just thinking of that image of "Oh Father" in Madonna's music video "Oh Father," when she sees her mom dead in the casket.
So,
like, I mean, what?
My favorite part about the pictures that this chick posted is the caption. The caption is "Butterfly fly away," a dove emoji, a U.S. flag emoji. Rest in peace, or R.I.P. Poppy. You were my best friend. A life well lived. As she's standing there looking like,
seductive.
Right.
Like, what?
What went through her mind?
Right.
Because like I said, okay, you were just looking at that one picture. Neither you or I would take a picture like that. Pero bueno, that picture was, entre lo que cabe, tasteful.
Which one?
The one of the family.
Wow.
Like I said, entre lo que cabe, because they're just standing next to the coffin. There's no like, get my good lighting, that's my bad angle. It's literally just stand next to it, take a picture or whatever. But you can tell that this girl, I don't know this for a fact, but I would bet you money that there's a ring light.
Do you think? I've never understood why it's offensive to take a picture at a funeral. Can somebody answer this question? That's somebody being stupid.
Well, I don't think it's offensive necessarily. I just don't understand why you would.
Well, would you want to keep that memory?
That's what I'm saying. It's not offensive because you're not like dancing with the body, but I mean, why would you?
I just with people like that, it's like, what validation are you looking for? I mean, obviously, we've talked about this on the show before, in terms of influencers and people that live their life on social media,
Right.
Obviously they do it for a sense of validation. But what type of validation are you specifically looking
Sympathy?
for when you post those type of pictures in front? You post those pictures of you being seductive in front of your dad's casket, because I think that it doesn't take a genius to understand that if she would have put a picture of her dad, just of her and her dad, and says, "Oh, I miss you, papi, love you," whatever, she probably was going to get a significant amount of comments,
And if it had just been a picture, let's say, of her,
when my grandmother passed away, I posted a very simple passage about her, and I got like a shitload amount of comments and sympathies.
Right.
From
Condolences,
people that have followed me for years and never interact with me. Right. That's what most normal people would do.
Yeah.
Right. Like people that are
condolences.
Right.
And that's it. Right.
Reasonable. Think rationally.
Right.
But what feedback does she think she was going to get?
Because she also, if she's even just looking for that feedback of, oh my God, so sorry, I'm so sorry, that condolences, right? She very easily could have just taken a picture of her standing maybe and I'm now photo directing her father's funeral. Closed casket, her standing next to the casket, maybe looking down as if she's praying. Like, there are other ways. If you're gonna be that person who takes pictures at a funeral, there are other ways to do it than being like, "Oh my God, I'm so sad. Look at my boobies."
She's an idiot, and like.
But it's the same people who vague book.
What's vague book?
People who post as their status, "Oh, why are things always so hard? Someday everything will be better." Why do they post that? Because they know that people are going to be like, "Are you okay? What's wrong? I'm always here for you."
Is that a term? I've never heard that term.
Vague booking, yeah. Vague booking. You're fishing. You're fishing for the for the attention. But you don't want to come out and say it, right? Because you don't want to put "Oh, today I lost my job," or whatever, right? Because that's too obvious. So what do? You're like, someday I know things will be better, but today is not that day, and I pray for strength, or something like that, because everybody then becomes like, you have so much strength, you've got this. Let me call you.
I had a couple of people on my Instagram account, especially like when I first joined Instagram. That I told you that
you just followed everybody back.
Swim of followers, and then I followed everybody back because I thought that's what you do in social media.
It was Insta etiquette.
Somebody follows you, you follow them back.
Right.
So I ended up with people following that. It's like, oh, why am I following you? And whatever, I don't want to unfollow them because at this point it's been a while.
It's been too long.
Whatever.
So you're stuck.
But there are a couple of people that everything was like what you said, I guess, vague booking, and everything was una tragedia. And it's like, you know what? I don't need this in my life. Mute. That mute button on Instagram is great. I'm not unfollowing you because I don't want to be that person, but mute. I don't need to see your stories. I don't need to see your pictures.
I mean, it's funny because as much as I post on Instagram, again, I'm always shirtless and this and that and that. I'm actually pretty private about what I post on social media. In terms of like even when, and I don't criticize anybody who does it, obviously, or whatever, but when my grandfather passed away, I didn't post anything because I was like, you know what? I don't need to. That's for me. When my aunt was in the hospital with COVID or whatever, I didn't post anything. I told you guys and all that, but it's like, you know what? This is for me. This is my thing. I'll post 45 pictures of me, shirtless in short shorts walking down Coral Gables, but
as I do.
But to me, that's not personal.
Especially by my history of recent posting, I think I've posted a dozen things on Instagram this year, if that. I'm sort of kind of over it. I'm not over it in the sense that I'm not going to be one of these people like, I am leaving social media.
Oh, also, why do people feel the need to announce it?
Right? It's like a press conference.
Yes.
Effective next Wednesday at noon, I am leaving social media.
Nobody cares.
It's like nobody's going to lose sleep over it.
Nobody cares.
No. You're not as important as you think you are.
Not even a little bit.
I'm kind of over it. It's like, First of all, the people that keep popping up that are like the hot models, it's like, I'm sick of
I'm
seeing,
over you.
I'm sick of seeing hot people on Instagram. Like, it's like,
You're a dime a dozen, babe.
yeah, you're a dime a dozen, and like, I feel this ship has already sailed. Like,
Yeah.
oh wow, a hot person on Instagram.
Water is wet.
Yeah, with now, especially like ever since Instagram did Reels.
Yes.
Now
yeah.
the TikTok comes up, and now that song that went viral, that TikTok video that went viral, that it's like that it starts like a boom.
The
boom,
one where people
boom.
do the answers.
Yes. No. There's one in particular, whatever, that it's all like hot people or people that think they're hot or whatever. And it's like I'm so, or like the one of the people that drop the clothes. And then
like
so
do
they
the
can
thing. Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh,
I'm still kind of I'm still like entertained by those because the timing on those. That's
I'm not the timing on those. There's like no editing. It's an app. There's an app for that.
Oh, okay. Well, silly me. I actually thought there was like a skill behind it.
Really, you think all those people like sat there and edited that video?
Well, they don't have anything else to do because these are all influencers. That's all they do all day.
No, those that's there's an app for that. Anyway, it's like you're not the only hot person on Instagram. Hot people have been putting stuff on Instagram for like 10 years, and it's like whatever, I don't really care. And then like I like travel pictures. I like pictures of cheesecakes. I like, oh my god, I saw this like Korean cheesecake today.
Ooh.
Yes, on Instagram. That
Sounds
I'm like
delicious.
I was like, I need to have this in my life.
But mira, like I'll post things lately. Like the other day, whatever, I was in New York and I went to the Museum of the Moving Image, and I took all the pictures of like all the Muppets they had. Who doesn't like pictures of the Muppets?
I mean, whatever, you post whatever you like or whatever you want. It's just that like sometimes I'll even take a good picture
and just save it
and be like,
keep it for you.
No, not even that. It's like I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna get like 300 likes. People are gonna be like, "Oh my god!" And it's like I don't really care. Like, I don't care. I just really
For me, it's also because we have the Insta for the podcast. So
but that's different.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm so much more focused on curating that one.
That's different.
But my personal one is a little second nature.
I have to say, I feel differently about posting on. Look at the psychology of this. I feel differently about posting on stories because stories is more like a little glimpse of something.
It's only 24 hours and then it's gone.
And it's like, okay, because like for example, today I posted something about Tristan and its Halloween costume. Yeah. It's like, do I really want to put that up on my page forever? But then today everybody's probably posting about that, especially for kids. So it's like, okay, I don't mind sharing that, but it's like and I feel a lot of, based on my data, I feel that a lot of people may feel that way because, I mean, I follow a lot of people and I feel people are posting less nowadays.
I think so.
I think there's a fatigue.
Yeah.
I think there's the people that are influencers, and I think that this I'm kind of going to be talking out of my ass because also it's the demographic.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But I
can't agree with you until I hear
that
it.
maybe people in their 30s and 40s are less fazed by influencers at this point because we kind of know that it's fake.
Yeah, but then I also think on the flip side, kids today are growing up with it, so they can spot it from a mile away too.
Maybe, right? But influencers still get millions of views. And
oh no, they do. Listen, I will kill for their views like shit.
I don't know. Do you think that there'll be a time where just people will not be into social media as much, or do you think it will evolve?
I think social media is here to stay. The form it takes, I don't know. I think if I had to hazard a guess right now, it would probably go down the route of becoming even more tailored. Because remember, the beauty of Instagram is that you can create, as we've said many times on the show, you can create your own bubble.
Yeah.
So if you only follow, I don't know, people who write thesis papers about Russian literature,
I totally follow that.
Then that's your world, and
I'm totally not kidding. I would totally follow.
And
that. I love Russian literature.
I know, Dr. Zhivago. So I don't know if it'll evolve in like there will be more like the way that get rid of cable. We're gonna have just Netflix and Hulu, and now we've got many
Yeah.
streaming apps. I don't know if it's going to go that route because already in social media you are allowed to set up your own world.
Right. That's true. I just think about the days of like MySpace
When it was fun.
when it was fun.
When
You would see your
biggest
friends,
problem was your top 8.
right, when you would see your friends' pictures and like, oh my god, look, this person. I mean, because I think about like MySpace. I was on MySpace and like a heavy MySpace user during the years I was in law school. So which I think was in the peak of MySpace, which was like 2000 through like probably 2007.
Yeah.
Those 7 years
Give or take,
were
yeah.
like the peak of MySpace. And those were the years that I was in law school. And 2003 through 2006. So I for me, especially since I was away from home, it was like the perfect thing, right?
Right.
And it was so innocent in a way that like,
Oh my god, so and so released a new song. I have to change the music on my page
and like on my background, and all that. But you genuinely were interested. Like I remember coming across people's profiles and being genuinely interested at certain people, because at that time it wasn't calculated.
Well, we also didn't have like everything on our phone at that time. So you almost
It was a desktop.
If you were going to upload something, you really had to like
Make
a decision.
But it was
and you
kind
had
of
to,
like, those first few seasons of The Real World, that people really went on and were real. Right. Eventually people went on and knew they were going to become celebrities.
Right.
So let me be as outlandish and outrageous as I can, because I may get something out of this, right? The same with MySpace. Like those first few years of MySpace, or the MySpace era, like you would come across people's profiles that you would be interested in, or you would have something in common with, and they were genuine, because neither you nor that person probably was out to get a ton of followers or to. You really were. It was really about sharing pictures and seeing stuff.
Unless you were one person in particular.
I think I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
But even that person, like I remember that person's page.
But that person would be an influencer now.
Right, but I think that the thing with that person is that person happened to know everybody that we knew, or a lot of people that we knew.
Fair enough. Right.
But what I'm saying is that like that term influencer didn't exist
at all.
And I don't think people at that point were generating calculated
let me
content.
do this to turn it into something.
Right. It wasn't curated.
Right.
I mean, it's always curated to a certain extent, because you're always going to put a good picture of you. You're always going to do that.
Yeah, but you weren't a brand. That's what you're... Right. You weren't a brand.
Right. Whatever. Those days were fun.
They were, by the way. Let's talk about...
The Facebook...
No, I saw him in real life a couple years back, and I forgot. I just kept... I was like, looks familiar. And somebody was like, oh, that's, fulano. And I was like, ay, pero que mal está. And he was like...
Está gordo.
Yeah.
Gordicapo.
Yes. And I was going to say, not in a fun way.
So speaking of MySpace or Facebook, viste that this week Facebook became Meta.
Meta, yeah. Well, okay, yes and no.
Right, the Facebook, it's like the umbrella company.
Right, the umbrella company became Meta. Facebook is still Facebook, Insta still Insta, WhatsApp is still WhatsApp. But yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I mean, everything with Facebook is calculated. Let's put that out there first and foremost. I do know that many times companies go through rebrandings.
Okay.
Where... sometimes it's forced upon them, like your Aunt Jemima's and Uncle Ben's. Sometimes it's just a natural progression, where, and I can't think of any freaking examples right now, but there are instances, actually, like TLC, used to be The Learning Channel, and now it's just TLC, and TLC does not stand for The Learning Channel. Like, you rebrand, you evolve. MTV, the M is just, it might as well just be TV, because...
They're going to put anything and everything but music.
Yes.
They will put an infomercial for car wax before they put a music video.
They might as well just call it like Martha.
But that's our ongoing conversation.
That is our ongoing conversation.
Wait, back to something you said. You think that...
But no, hold on. So what I was saying is, it happens all the time, but I can't remember a time when a company changed its name so drastically. Like if Facebook, the parent company, had instead of being Facebook just been like, oh, we're just FB now or something like that. Right. Like that's traditionally what you see, not a complete name change.
Right. Wait, you think Aunt Jemima was done by force?
Well, because times are changing.
Right. Like I saw it more of like, okay, this is an evolution of our brand.
Yes and no, because if nobody had been, I mean, let's be honest. It's good that they did it. I'm not against it, but if it had not become a thing about during the bigger conversation about race last year,
right?
I don't know that they would have done it.
You know what I think is
on their own.
Interesting about the whole Aunt Jemima thing is that, and I'm totally for them changing the name. People are like, oh, it's nostalgia. It's like, I'm the first
we talk about nostalgia here all the time.
About nostalgia all the time, but if the nostalgia is aligned with slavery, I don't think so.
We're gonna call it the line.
It's okay. It's okay.
We're gonna call it the line.
Yes,
yeah.
It's the no. Yeah. I don't want no part of that. But it's interesting because when the whole Aunt Jemima thing was going on, that there were people online outraged, like it was a personal attack on them that, a freaking pancake mixer, mix thing was changing its name.
These are probably the same people who literally protested and started online petitions about, well, not online at the time, but about, Coke changing its recipe.
Right. Well, maybe. How people were like, oh, because, this is disrespectful to the real Aunt Jemima. And, like, I saw stories about, like, people typing, like, putting in stories about Aunt Jemima. I'm like, she did not exist.
Do you know where that confusion comes from?
What? Betty Crocker? Because she doesn't exist either.
No. That confusion, and I can't remember, so listeners, bear with me. I don't remember any of the specifics, but I do know that there is a movie from maybe the 30s or 40s that the basis of the movie is essentially, her name is not Aunt Jemima. It's not called the Aunt Jemima story. It's called something, but it's essentially a story of how like this, this white woman and this black woman together, they used the black lady's recipe for, I think it was like, maybe it wasn't pancakes. It was like hot cake, whatever. And, they came out of this for the better. So it wasn't that Aunt Jemima existed, but because this movie exists.
Okay, well, I don't know if people were getting the reference from the movie because a lot of the comments that I saw.
But that's why, no, because people take the movie and run with it, is what I mean.
But a lot of the comments that I saw were like, oh, Aunt Jemima was born in like whatever year.
Oh.
And,
okay, no, that's a little much.
She set up, her pancake company and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Aunt Jemima did not exist. Like, the source of the Aunt Jemima recipe is very well known. Like, the guy named it Aunt Jemima.
Imitation of Life is the name of the movie. So here's the thing. Widow.
Is this kind of like the whole thing of like that Nelson Mandela? How many times did he die?
Has he died? Has he been dead?
Sinbad was in
Kazam, but it wasn't. So
no, not Sinbad.
Well, Shaquille O'Neal was in Kazam, but not Shazam.
Okay, which is the Sinbad one?
He didn't do any of them.
Right, he didn't do one.
Right, people think it was Sinbad. Right,
but it wasn't.
Right. So here's the whole the movie Imitation of Life. Widow B. Pullman and her daughter Jessie take in a fair-skinned black girl and her mother, housekeeper Delilah Johnson. Struggling to make ends meet, Delilah shares her family pancake recipe with B, and the two decide to start a business on the Atlantic City boardwalk. Together, the women find great success, considerable fortune, but they also encounter family hardships and some deep-seated identity and racial problems. And that movie's from 1934.
Coño. This was like before the civil. This was like 30-some years before the Civil Rights Act. Like,
right. So that's what when a lot of people say like, no, because they made a movie about her life. That's what it is.
I don't know if like these comments were people that said that, but I'm like, are these people serious? And Jemima did not exist. Like, she did not. But anyway, we steered off course. What is interesting now is that when you look at the old Aunt Jemima packaging, now it's the Pearl Milling Company.
The Pearl Bailey Milling Company?
Get Pearl Bailey. The Pearl Mining Company. It's Pearl Mining Company, right? But it's like the same Fox with the same font.
That throws me off.
You look at it and it's like...
At first you think it's off-brand.
Right.
It's like somebody's stealing the trademark.
Right. But actually, if you think about it, it's smart because it still feels...
Pearl Milling Company.
Right. It still feels like...
it still has that old school font.
Right. It's all about the font.
It's all about the font. If we've learned
So
nothing in 180 episodes.
Marketing strategy. Anyway, we steered off course.
Well, no, not really. We can bring this shit back.
We always do. With Facebook, because we were talking about Facebook. Let me ask you
the
this.
name is weird to me.
Let me ask you this, because this is the biggest kind of argument people always have with Facebook, or for it or against it. We know now, we've known for quite some time, two things. We've known that a majority of Americans, I forget the exact number or the percentage, but it's a large majority. Large majority. but it's not like a 51-49. It's
okay, like 80-20 or something.
Yes, it's like a vast majority of people get their news from Facebook. And we also know that Facebook
and when we say get their news from Facebook, we don't mean that they follow CNN or Fox News.
Right.
That they're just getting news, quote unquote.
We don't know where this is coming from.
Okay.
Right? And we also know that Facebook has been notorious for being the platform in which misinformation has been
it spreads like wildfire.
Right.
Wildfire.
Spread and posted. And they've known of this misinformation, and they've done very little, or at least they did a little too late. So, do you think that Facebook should be held at a different standard? Because for forever, their whole thing is we are not the content creator of
and that's fair.
news.
They're not.
They're not. Okay, so you think they shouldn't?
I think
I think they should.
I think it's dicey for me.
I think they should.
I think it's dicey because on the one hand, I mean, they are just allowing the free flow of exchange at its most pure level, right? Like let's take everything out of it. So, at what point do they get to be allowed to police things, right? I think that's the argument. Like who gets to say Facebook, there's Facebook jail, but that no, this is inappropriate according to whom?
Okay.
Right? I mean, I think it's a form. It could, if you grant that degree of power, it could slide into an element of censorship.
Okay. So the law can be changed all the time, and it is, and it has, and it can be extended, it could be made more overreaching, or it could be more acute, right? And I think that at this point in time, they should be held to the same or similar standards as a news organization, because they are the largest distributor of news. And they're not a little company. They're not, this kind of third
They're
party.
not a startup.
They're not a startup. They're not kind of like this third party app that no, they are Facebook. They are currently one of the most influential and powerful entities in the entire world. Right? So, and they have made this fortune and have gotten this power from taking our data and our information. Right?
That we've willingly given them. Let's be fair.
Well, yes and no.
Well, but I'm saying,
yes and no, yes and no, yes and no. Because when I'm having a conversation with you about,
oh no, that okay.
When I'm having a conversation with you about, remember how much we used to love A Different World, the TV
and then you
show
get
on
served,
NBC,
right.
And then I open up my phone and I'm getting ads
for A Different World.
For Different
DVD
World.
sets,
I never
yeah.
authorized that. So
Right.
unless it was buried in my user agreement for Instagram, which clearly it probably was. I think that's something that's most reasonable people do not approve
anticipate,
that,
yeah.
or anticipate that, or is it foreseeable that your phone
right.
is going to be capturing what you're saying to sell you stuff, right? So I think that most people don't willfully give their information to Facebook or any social media app, and they've gotten where they are by taking our information and turning it around on us and making money from our data. But that aside, back to the whole news thing, again, law can be changed all the time, and it is, and it has, and it will be for anything. if they are the largest distributor of news, and we know that there is a massive disinformation that is occurring on their platforms, not only in the United States, but around the world.
Globally, yeah.
But specifically to the United States, that it's affecting now you're talking that it's affecting, campaigns and it's affecting our democracy, then they need to be policed. That doesn't mean that they need to be censored completely, and there needs to be a panel of people that review Facebook content, but they need to be given similar standards as press. And there needs to be safeguards that the information that is being used on their platform has some type of quality control or quality standard. Because if not, and I'm totally against censorship, because I'm one of these people that I believe in the whole thing, when you open up the floodgates,
right,
it's going to flood.
Where does it stop?
Like, I'm a big believer of that. But this is a situation that it has gotten out of hand. We saw where it went in this last election, and it can only get worse. So where does it stop?
The genie's already out of the bottle.
Right. So where does it stop? Who stops it? Where does it stop?
I don't know.
No, but that's why like when people say like, well, censorship and all that, I'm like, okay, but now you're talking about like national security risks. So, I mean, I think it's.
I just think that if it does go down that route, I mean, they have a horrible track record of the things that they do police, to the point where I have, in a weird way, been like a pseudo victim of their weird, I guess, algorithms. Recently I was posting on, I was going to post on somebody's, some post or whatever, and I was commenting, and I was saying something like, I know, say, don't be so come mierda or whatever. And it did not allow me to post because it said, our policy is not to allow for certain words that can be viewed as offensive, no sé qué, no sé cuánto, blah, 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 right? Okay. So I rejiggered the copy and I reposted it, whatever, fine. But then, cuando todo esto estaba empezando con lo de Cuba, that, all of a sudden, like, everybody learned what gusano was.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, right. Yes.
When everybody learned what gusano was, because obviously somebody had found our page, because they had to, protest or whatever. And I have my Insta's public, my personal one is public. And so they posted, like, it was a picture of me and my oldest nephew. It was like, oh, look at these gusanos or whatever. And I was like, you know what? Normally I'd be okay with it because I don't give a flying fuck. Pero hoy me pisaste el callo. Because it's a picture of me and my nephew at a baseball game. So I reported it. And do you know what they came back and they said? They were like, oh, we found no instance of, of anything derogatory or whatever. Now, look, at the end of the day, it was the word worm, and I'm not that butthurt about it. But it's like, okay, wait a minute. So I am telling you this is offensive on my page, that this is something that is offensive to me, and you deem it no.
Right.
So if you're going to be in the business of policing, you better be either consistent with it or have somebody there who understands cultural norms.
Right, but then I understand, but then that's a little bit hard, because then what's offensive for one person may not be offensive to another, and then you open up a whole like can of worms there. And
right, but they're already putting themselves in that position.
Right, but the thing is, what I mean more is like, in terms of, national security risks, like, what the hell? I mean, I don't know in terms of law and government where it's going to, but let's just say that 10 years ago, we were not talking about Facebook.
This wasn't going to happen on MySpace.
And world domination and, and Facebook, being in the conversation of an insurrection at the Capitol.
Right.
And yet here we are.
And here, it's like, you mentioned it earlier today, and I remember I actually had to take a moment and stop, and I was like, wait a minute, that just happened this year.
Yeah.
It felt to me like it happened because after last year, after 2020, time has no meaning to me anymore.
Right.
If you tell me something happened an hour ago or 3 years ago, I will be like,
because
yes.
Here's my problem. A lot of the issues that happened, especially in the last election, right, were of, I don't even want to say third party, of like Facebook groups and supposedly news organizations that were bots. Right? That were bots, and this is known that these news organizations were, and they're all negative and they're all extreme. They're all polarizing. Right? And they were feeding vulnerable people or people that would have a high reaction to
information
that based on the data that we have given them, to get them riled up. So they knew that this
because
existed.
they know that when you riled up, you engage.
They knew that this existed. Right. It's all about engagement.
And
exactly.
Because if you're engaged, then now you are generating time on Facebook and they can serve you more advertisement. And again, I work in marketing. I know how this works.
Right. That's exactly engagement. These are things that involved engagement. Just like I was reading something recently and I saw that the reason why when you see, especially when things are politically, not only politically driven, just anything, because everything is a fight on Facebook nowadays or on Instagram. The worst comments are put on top on purpose. Like the most incendiary comments are on top on purpose, so they could get the biggest reaction or engagement from you. Right. So when you know that a company is doing this on purpose, right, and this is much more than shaming the company, and the company is now causing a national security breach, then we need to take a look at how we're going to curtail this and what rules and regulations and measurements and what accountability we have to put on that company to stop that. Because where do we go?
No, you're not wrong.
Where do we go? Are the people just going to put terrorist plans on Facebook and nope, you can't touch that because
free speech.
No.
Yeah.
So,
well, actually, now you mentioned accountability.
Tom would have never let that happen.
He would not, with his little whiteboard.
Yes, who would have ever known, right? That picture would have
it became a thing. It's instantly recognizable.
Yeah, I posted a few weeks ago on my Instagram. I posted a picture of Tom. I'm like, Tom, I miss you so much.
The days of Tom.
Let's repeat the story. We've repeated it. Of our friend and Tom.
That's great.
But that's a story.
That's a good story. That is a good story.
So back again when MySpace first started, that when MySpace first started, it was very communal and in the sense that's oh my god, I found somebody I went to high school with. Oh my god,
it was also very new because the internet was still in its infancy, in the sense of where we are now.
Well, yes, but the internet had been around for a while, but
not social media.
MySpace was the first social media platform because before MySpace was Friendster.
Oh, Friendster, that's right. I forgot about Friendster.
Yeah, and Classmates. But Classmates was just for high school.
Right.
But MySpace was the first one that everybody was on MySpace, right? And it was you found people from high school, or middle school or whatever. So we have a very dear friend of ours.
Lifelong.
That, if you recall, everybody was friends with Tom.
He was your first friend.
And
when you signed up, he was your first friend.
I don't know when, one day that we were all together, she's like, hey guys, we're all friends with Tom. Who's Tom? Is that somebody we went to high school with and I just don't remember? I'm like, yep, it was. Yeah. It was the one Americanoing Southwest.
It was the one guy. Yes. Tom Smith stood out, poor guy.
Anyway, Tom. Moving right along. So, what I find is so funny? I don't know if your parents do this or listeners, maybe your parents do. I find really hilarious my dad's and again, maybe we all have one parent or whatever that does this or a relative that does this. My dad, that he's so curious and knowledgeable about certain elements of pop culture that he should not be. My dad asks me all the time.
Is he voting for JoJo Siwa, Dancing with the Stars?
No, but just as good.
Okay.
Oye, tú sabes que el otro día yo vi ese muchachito de los Jonas Brothers cantando. ¿Y por qué ellos no están juntos? O no, pero ellos no estaban juntos hace unos años. Y después que no estuvieron juntos por muchos años. Y después se juntaron otra vez. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, well, why do you know this?
So much about the Joe Bros?
Yes. Oh, well, do you remember who was the biggest fan of Jessica and Nick?
That's true, your dad.
My dad ate up Newlywoods.
Yeah, I think your dad is still hurting over that divorce.
Yes. And I'm like, but why do you care so? I don't even care that much.
And they're my age range pop culture.
Yes. Ay, esa gente con lo enamorada que estaban. Ay, los pobres. He was so invested in Jessica and Nick.
That's great.
I don't know why.
Weren't we all though?
Don't you? Well, yes, but don't your like parents, aren't they weird about certain things?
Not really. Not for things like that. Not for like pop culture things like that. Like my mom will be the one who will like randomly throw something out, like we've said on the show. You know that my mother loves to watch The Real.
Right.
It's like, but why?
And my dad, I think, single-handedly wants to keep alive like the Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt like dramas.
Is he the one writing all the tabloid headlines?
Oh my God! Like, oíste que Angelina Jolie no quiere que el Brad vea los hijos, and I'm like,
According to who?
Why are you even talking about this? Like, who cares? So my dad is into random pop culture, and my mom is into cars.
That is fantastic. I had no idea your mother was so into cars. You guys went to the car show.
Boney M and into
Boney M and cars.
So, listeners,
I'm now picturing your mother in like a lowrider while Daddy Cool plays.
So, listeners, this past weekend was here in Miami. It was the car show. And for one reason or another, I ended up going with my parents. It's a long story. We don't need to get into it, but it's fine. And my mom was like totally about like, ese es el Escalade nuevo. Ay, qué lindo está.
She knew all of them.
Yes. Ay, mira el Navigator. Or like when we got to Toyota, she's like, verdad que el Supra siempre ha tenido una línea bonita. And I'm like, are you freaking Dominic Toretto or something? Like,
she should be in the next one.
She's like, I showed you the pictures of my mom on trucks.
That would be great if, like, in the next Fast and the Furious, Vin Diesel's like, we got an expert who's going to help us on this stuff. And they pull up to, like, you know, some, like, they cut to the next scene, right? And, like, we see the hood come down and it's your mother.
Yeah.
She's like, bueno, el carburetor no está bien.
See, like, she knows about cars. And I'm like, but, like...
And your mother's like souping up the cars for Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes. Like, before I got my car, before I got the Tesla, my mom's like, a mí me encanta la línea del Tesla. Está tan moderno y tan bonito la línea del Tesla. And I'm like, pero who are it? But she does. Like, she really knows
genuine.
about cars.
Yeah.
Like, which I think is great. But
it's not what most people would expect your mother to be into.
Especially my mother.
Right.
My mother.
Yeah.
You know, that's like, you know, when my mom... I discovered maybe 3 or 4 years ago that my mom was like Boney M's biggest fan. Like,
your mom was a little cooler than you.
That's why I took video of her dancing to Boney M.
It's great.
And I sent it to you because I'm like, people have to see this. Like,
yeah, que no son cosa tuya.
She knew the lyrics. And she's like, de Boney M. And I'm like, who the hell is Boney M? And it's strange that I didn't know who Boney M was.
Your mother's cooler than you
Did
are.
you know who they were?
I did, but only by like maybe a year.
Oh, before?
Yeah.
And okay.
Because por casualidad, I was at some bar and they were playing, I think it was Daddy Cool. And I was like, I'm really digging this song. So I went to the DJ and I'm like, what is this? And they were like, it's Boney M. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like,
right.
And so then,
yeah. Right. When she was telling me, no, porque encuéntrame canciones on iTunes or whatever, de Boney M. I'm like, how do I even begin to spell that? Like, de Boney M. Like, that's what she told me, de Boney M.
Did you for a minute think she meant Bon Iver?
That would have been even better. If my mom got into, like, American folk music, like, while she is driving
the truck. Yeah.
And my dad's, you know, catching up on his gossip, you know, on Nick and Jessica. He's so invested in the Jonas Brothers. I'm going to be like, do you want to see them in concert?
You should take him to see them. But only if you also take your mother to see Boney M. They were touring about 2 years ago, and I sent you the link, and you did not take your mother.
I did not take my mother. Yeah.
They were at the James All Night.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much all they can probably fill at this point.
Boney M?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and my dad asked questions like, ¿Y el mayor que ha hecho? Of like the Jonas Brothers. Y el mayor que ha hecho. Porque yo siempre es el Nick, es más joven.
Oh, yeah, he keeps getting married, yeah.
Yeah. And then, you know, porque la esposa de él es bella, whatever. And I'm like,
well, come on, Priyanka, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you know.
He's really invested.
With the Jonas Brothers. Like, I don't get it. Like, I mean.
Oh, that's great.
He knows. Like, he even knows.
Okay.
This is how far it goes. He knows that I like Demi Lovato.
Okay.
Okay. And my father has mentioned to me, esa película que estaba Demi Lovato con los Jonas
Camp
Brothers.
Rock?
Camp Rock. And I'm like, you know Camp Rock. Like,
why do you know Camp Rock?
like, I'm starting to get like a little worried here. Like, it's what happens when you're retired.
Maybe your dad just really likes those DComs.
Because it's like, man, you know, I felt a little out of place when I would watch, you know, Hannah Montana or like...
Right, and we were...
But we were like 28.
Right, we were a little older.
Like,
but not...
Or That's So Raven.
But not
you know?
Retired.
Right.
Right. Well, you know, it's wholesome entertainment for the whole family.
Right. Oh, yeah, I've been watching... What have you been watching recently? Like old stuff?
Old stuff? I'm trying to think. Because lately I've actually been watching a lot of new stuff because this fall season kind of just started. I don't know old stuff that I've been watching lately. No, I've just been catching up on new shit.
Do you watch Ted Lasso?
I have not seen season 2. I loved season 1.
Everybody loves that show. I need to watch it.
Season 1 just gave me the best, just happy, pure joy feeling. It's such a happy, positive show.
I've been watching. I told you before we started recording. I've been watching in the last few weeks 227.
Mary.
Jackie is a national treasure.
She is a national treasure.
Yeah, I mean, she really is.
She is, and we should never forget it.
And we shouldn't, because like I think that maybe people have like, I don't know, forgotten a little bit of a Jackie.
And yet Jackie has been around, and she's managed to not just be around, but like be in things that had longevity.
Right. She did not 1, 2 sitcoms.
Right. She did 227, then Sister.
Yeah.
And then after that, she would pop up and, you know, here and there.
Like, she's never gone away.
Right. And every time she shows up, you know you're happy to see her.
Yeah.
You know, like, listen, she's one of the reasons I'm watching Days of Our Lives now.
Because of Jackie.
She's
like a realtor, right?
I think so. I don't know. Her character used to live in Miami, and then when they did that Days of Our Lives miniseries thing, they came down to stay in her house in Miami, but it was just like one room.
But you know what I think is great about Jackie? Is that Jackie is typecasted
as Jackie.
As her,
yeah.
Right?
Jackie will always just play Jackie.
Right.
And
When
that's
she was
fine.
on 227, yes, she was Sandra Clark. That was her character, but she's not typecasted as Sandra Clark.
No.
She's typecasted as Jackie.
Right, because then when she played Lisa on Sister, you know, she played like a mother, right? So it wasn't the sex pot, but Lisa was Jackie. like Jackie got married and had a child, and this is now what we're gonna get.
She had twins.
She had twins, and now in Days of Our Lives, it's like Jackie became a real estate magnate, and she became rich, lived in Miami, and now she's living in Salem with all these other crazy people.
She went from Miami to Salem, Massachusetts.
Well, because she had family in it's not Salem, Massachusetts. It's Salem, but I don't know where it is. I know it's not in Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's not in
So
Massachusetts.
it's just like Springfield or The Simpsons?
Exactly, yeah. It's like these cities and like
Wait,
these novelas.
is Days of Our Lives not set in a real city?
No. Most of the daytime soaps are not.
Well, General Hospital's in Port Charles.
Port Charles. All My Children was in Pine Valley. Yeah, they make up.
Well, Santa Barbara was in Santa Barbara. We know
that's
that
true.
one.
Okay, that one. That's the one. Yes. You know, Sunset Beach took place in Sunset Beach.
Where did California Dreams take place? Was it in LA, right?
That was in LA. Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously in California.
Yeah. That was LA. Yeah.
You know what? I never realized that.
What?
That they take place in fictional cities. Like, why? Like,
because they're all in like small towns. Because it's the only way. Think about it. If you logistically, like these daytime soaps, especially when they started, the cast all has to interact with each other.
Right. That's
So
to see each
if-
other at the same cafe.
Right. So if you
That's
set
not happening in New York City.
No, it is not. No. Like these people would never run into each other.
They could totally do one in Miramar.
In Weston.
In Weston.
In Weston.
Right. The Real Housewives of Weston.
Of Weston.
Oh my God.
That's a shit show waiting to happen.
There's going to be so many, like... That'd be so interesting. The Real Housewives of Weston. Get Andy Cohen on the phone.
Ugh, must I?
Whatever. You know that...
Listen, as much shit as I say, if Andy Cohen called us tomorrow and was like, listen, we want you to have a show or we want to do something with you, I'll be like, of course, Andy. Whatever.
We will bow at the altar
of Mazel.
Yeah, Andy Cohen.
Of Bravo. We'll become Bravo celebrities.
Actually, I was watching some stuff of his show. I don't watch his show.
The Watch What Happens Live?
Yeah, but I was watching it this past week because Meaghan McCain was on the show.
That's an interesting guess.
Meaghan McCain's been on the show like 10 times.
Oh, really?
Her and him are BFFs.
I'll meet her.
Because she's a huge fan of the Housewives.
Oh, okay.
But like huge. Like
Yeah.
she's obsessed with it. Oh my God. If you look up Meaghan McCain.
Meaghan McCain, also pseudo friend of the show because she reposted one of our things.
She did. If you look up Meaghan McCain, Watch What Happens Live.
Mm-hmm. There's lots of clips.
There's like dozens of clips.
Oh, wow.
She's been, that I could think of off my head, at least 6 times. Yeah, because she was
I
like,
still don't know how the hell she found our post.
I don't know. Glad she did.
I'm glad she did. But sometimes I lay awake at night wondering how that happened.
Have you heard about her audiobook?
I've heard that there's the La Tan Criticando as
Well,
as they do for everything she does, but
yeah, I mean, she's just one of these people that she like says,
the soup is cold, and
Right.
it's like, oh, Meaghan McCain just does not like gazpacho.
right.
Right.
The sky is blue.
Right. It's more cerulean.
Right. No. And now you're discriminating against people that are colorblind.
Right.
Like,
right. Yeah.
well, she wrote it. Well, it's not a tell-all. There's only one chapter about the View.
Oh, really?
But there's a little bit of scorched earth in it.
Well, but I think most people, when they leave the View, are not looking to come back necessarily.
Right, but she went off on how like the moment that she says that the moment she decided to leave the show after she came back from maternity leave was a certain fight she had with Joy, and I actually saw that. And I remember when Joy said to her what she said, I was like, oh, she shouldn't have said that, because I think it was like on Megan's second day back. They had a fight, and Megan was like sarcastically like, "Oh, Joy, you missed me so much. You missed fighting with me." It was clear that she was being sarcastic.
Right.
And Joy was like, "I didn't miss you. I didn't miss you at all." Like she was not playing.
I've told you, Joy seems like the most misnamed human being on earth.
Yeah, but she said that a lot of her grievances with the show was not with the host or Joy or anybody.
Was the production.
Was with the production. She said there were a lot of leaks while she was there because she was good for ratings.
Yeah.
So they wanted to keep it. They wanted to keep the engagement up.
There you go.
But you know what? My whole thing with, and I really liked Meaghan McCain on The View, and I like Meaghan McCain generally. Mostly.
Well, no, but like all the people on The View, there are times where you love them, hate them.
She's a Republican I can tolerate. I could, like. The problem with her is that she's very polarizing, and a lot of times she would not have polarizing views, but her delivery was polarizing.
Well, yeah, because she always had a very cold affect.
Yes. And sometimes, especially, she was there during the Trump years, and she did not like Trump.
Right.
So there were many times that she was actually on the side of the
everybody else. Everybody else, yeah.
But still, they clashed because her delivery also wasn't
Right.
very warm.
Right.
But but that's a whole shtick with The View. Honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, ever since she left, I have not watched it as much.
Really?
Nope, I haven't.
Because it's just a bunch of people stroking each other.
I think she was a lightning rod on that show.
Otherwise, it's just a bunch of people nodding their heads in agreement.
Yeah, and I don't know. I still watch it. It's in my DVR, but like The View was something, if you've listened to 180 shows of ours, that I'm always talking about and always like referencing.
Right.
But now, I still watch it. I have it in my catalog. I'll go and I'll watch 3 episodes in one day and fast forward through the stuff I don't want. But I used to watch it religiously every day, and yeah, it's gotten a little bit. That conservative seat on The View is very hard to fill because you need somebody who's a conservative, but it can't be now.
But that's why polarizing,
right? But it can't be like a delusional Marjorie Stoneman Green.
No. Marjorie, do not confuse that woman with the mother of the Everglades.
Yes, it can't be.
Right, you can't be unhinged.
Right, but then also you kind of have to stand for conservative values. You have to be likable because it is a TV show. So it's a hard spot to fill.
It is not. It is not easy.
Anyway, well, what do you have for me? I feel I've.
Well, I had most of the same things you were gonna say. So then we synced up.
So what else is there to say? What is Alyssa Milano doing nowadays?
She's actually releasing a book.
Okay.
Sorry Not Sorry.
Baby, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Baby,
She is
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
so she released, actually she's on the book tour, quote unquote, right now.
Are we gonna go see her?
Well, I don't know about the book tour like in person, but she's doing the
She's
talk
doing a virtual book
no,
tour?
the talk show circuit is what I meant.
Okay, actually, hold on. I had a brain fart this week. Totally not a listen
Okay.
Milano. This week or last week or whatever, a few days ago. I don't even know when. I don't even know what day it is. It's Fake Friday.
Who knows?
I saw a lot of like, I don't know, ads, things on Facebook, things on the news. Wonder Woman turned 80 and they would put a picture of Lynda Carter. And I'm like, oh my God, Lynda Carter looks great for 80. And then I was thinking, but wait, was she in like her late 40s or
Right, it didn't make sense.
40s when she was doing Wonder Woman? Because like I know that 40s are the new 20s,
But not back then.
But not back then, and like she seemed like, I don't know,
Yeah.
a 25. Like when she
She's
did that.
Linda is 70.
I was like, wow.
She's the same age as my father, actually.
Lynda Carter looks great for 80.
And she has a place down here in Surfside.
Lynda Carter?
Yeah.
Oh, good thing it wasn't that place.
Well, yes, not that place, but she has a place down here, so I am dying to bump into her. And then I can convince her to be on the show because her mother is Mexican, or was Mexican. So
Really?
Yeah.
Does Lynda Carter know Spanish?
I don't know if she knows Spanish, but she's half Mexican, and
And she still looks great for her age.
ella luce fenomenal. Like,
She is
well,
Wonder
okay,
Woman.
I mean, she's Wonder Woman.
You know what I think is
Amazons don't age.
You know what I think is so amazing about her Wonder Woman show is that whole outfit of hers, the blue one,
The scuba suit.
she only wore that like once.
It doesn't matter. That's all I needed.
But yet it became so iconic.
Yeah. So sorry, her name is Linda Jean Cordova Carter.
Gordoa.
Her mother was Mexican.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, and she's almost exactly the same age as my father, because my father's July 12th, 1951, and she's July 24th.
Wow. Who knew that she was Hispanic?
Yeah. And when Hispanic Heritage Month started, she did post a picture of herself with her mother and saying, thank you for always making me, feel like a proud Latina and blah, blah, blah. And
Wonder
yes,
Woman was Latina.
Wonder Woman was Latina. But, back then you didn't do that.
Right.
Back then you shed the image.
Right. Wow.
I don't know who her father was, but I know for a fact her mother was Mexican.
For some reason, like the episode or scene I remember the most of Wonder Woman, she was in some sort of cell or something.
That was
and,
like every episode.
She's like tearing down the bars,
Uh-huh.
like a little window.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
There's like bar. Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know exactly what you're talking about. Of
And
course I do.
I don't know why I remember that scene so much because that show was they used to,
And that show only ran for 3 years.
and it was in the 70s,
Yes, but we saw it in
in
syndication.
the 80s. So
Yes.
that's why it was still newish.
Yeah.
in the 80s because
Yeah.
it was on a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember that one episode with the scuba suit.
Yeah.
That it's like I later found out that it only came out once, but yet
Only once, but I will never forget. One time I was at a gay bar that had like video screens, and they were playing like a dance remix of the Wonder Woman theme, and you could see like all of us just staring at the screen, waiting for the scuba suit. And when the scuba suit came on, you'd have thought that somebody had just scored a touchdown. It was like, whoa, the scuba suit! Like
scuba suit.
it was impactful.
it's become its own thing now.
It really has.
So I guess this is a great way to
Yeah,
segue into the
of
last
course,
soda.
last sodas. Who doesn't want a last soda with? Who doesn't want to share a last soda with Lynda Carter?
Especially who's not 80 or 70.
Who's not
But
80?
I'm so funny because I was like, wow. Pero
Está.
que bien está Lynda Carter for 80. I was like,
Está bien preservada.
because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, how old was she when she did Wonder Woman in the 70s?
The numbers didn't add up, did it?
So anyway, bueno, it's our last soda. Who do you want to give a last soda to?
All right, I'm gonna give a gasless soda.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna give a gasless soda to the dumb fucks online
Oh, well.
who are now going around saying that Michael Myers from the movie Halloween is homophobic.
I wouldn't even know how to start with that.
All right, so this all started because in the latest Halloween movie, Halloween Kills.
Wait, are we canceling Michael Myers?
I'm not canceling shit. In the latest movie, Halloween Kills, in addition to like the other, 600 people that he kills in the movie, he kills a gay couple in their home. Now, granted, the reason that he kills them is because the home that they're in used to be his house.
Okay.
So anybody who's seen Halloween, it's always about Michael Myers going back home, going back to the house, and that's his house. And if
That's
you're
what it's about.
I mean, you can hypothesize a lot, but ultimately it's about that. And these were the couple who had bought the house, renovated it. It looked really pretty. But, they were in his house. So he killed them. Again, just like he wound up killing like half the damn town on the way there. So now it's become like this whole thing online where it's like, the murder of this gay couple and it's so homophobic and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, if there's one thing I know for sure is that Michael Myers is an equal opportunity killer.
Oh, are these all like op-eds and editorials of people
Yes.
online?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And this is why we can't have nice things. Because, there's real homophobia, there's real, discrimination going out there, and we're writing about, Michael Myers.
Wow.
So that's why those asses are getting my last gasless soda.
I'm going to give a gasless soda too.
Okay.
This is to a broad spectrum of people.
Oh, Lord.
This is to people simply because I saw it on the news again this week, and it's like, I don't know what the hell is wrong with people. People that become,
When you start that way.
freaking, I don't know, lunatics on flights and lose their shit. Did you hear about the guy who punched he punched her twice in the face?
A flight attendant?
A flight attendant, because she sort of bumped into his elbow with like the drink thing.
The cart?
Yes, I'm like 6'1" and wide. Do you know how many times I've been hit by and hit? It's just a natural thing that when I
It's not on purpose.
it's like I'm gonna get hit.
It's
I'm
not on
gonna get
purpose.
hit. I'm
Right.
gonna get hit. So it just
Right.
happens. You're in a little chamber, right? And he punched her twice, but this isn't so much about him. It's just in general.
It seems to be a phenomenon in the last year.
In the last couple of years, even before COVID, it was happening.
But I feel like COVID ramped it up.
It did. Because with COVID now you have the people who
Don't want to wear the mask and don't want to do this.
Right. But even before it was increasing, it's like, what the hell's wrong with people?
Like, don't fly.
Like, you know what?
Don't fly.
You know what? I'm totally for this because you know that a pilot has like kind of.
They're almost like
I don't want to call
officer.
it martial law.
Well, but yeah.
But a pilot is like a captain that, like, when you are in the air.
Yes, they are God.
They are God. They are in charge.
Yeah.
Like, they are the Constitution.
Yes. They are the Constitution of American Airlines
I forget
Flight 123.
the exact term of it, but it's like, you know what? They need to have airplane jail. Like, in the back, behind the bathrooms.
Just a little godsend.
I put a little godsend,
And just put them in there.
We could have a cushioned seat. We don't have to, like...
Well, let's be barbarians.
Right, we got a cushioned seat. They could still get water and some refreshments, but just put them back there. Because you know what? It's like getting out of hand. Like, it's getting out of hand. And, like, it disrupts the whole thing. They have to usually divert the flight. So now it's a major,
You're inconveniencing
major
everyone.
burden.
Yeah.
You're inconveniencing hundreds of people. And you don't know, a lot of these people are on business. They're maybe going to a family emergency.
Well, fuck it, even if you're not. I don't want to have to defy me because you're a dumbass who had to punch a flight attendant
Right,
for...
but it's like a lot of times that people that travel, more than half of the times is not because, I'm going to go to Barbados or Ghana. It's like because they're going to take care of shit.
Right.
And now because of your stupid ass,
Right.
And it's always something silly, right?
Yeah, it's never that somebody pushed you or punched you in the like. It's never like a self-defense type situation. Right. No.
So,
and now we have to fucking travel with duct tape.
Ugh. Did you see the guy they duct taped to the seat a couple of months
Being
back?
hecho.
I'm like, coño.
Being hecho. You know what? You want to act like a fool? We're gonna treat you like a fool.
I just thought of right now. Like, completely, well, unrelated but related. When we were leaving Las Vegas, I've told you, and we were on Spirit. Oh my god! And I was like one of the last people to board on purpose because I'm like, I'm gonna be in this plane that I don't fit in for at least as possible. And that guy comes in who sat diagonally across from me with his big, I don't know, Wet Willie's.
Oh, the souvenir
that
drink
was, like,
thing, yeah.
4 feet tall, and I'm thinking, ¿a dónde va a poner eso? Porque en ese avión no cabía un alfiler más. Like,
And this thing is the size of a toddler.
Like if you were wearing like a hoodie, it wouldn't fit. Like, you had to wear it because you didn't have where to put it, right? I'm like, where is that man gonna put that? Because all the overhead was...
No, and that doesn't fit in the overhead as it is.
Yeah, no. And I'm like, where's that man gonna put that? Well, he carried it the entire time.
He had to sit there with the thing.
He had to sit there with the thing. because he didn't have where to put it.
That's great.
And I'm like, and then it got me thinking, but why do you really want that? Like, ¿qué quiere ese?
Yeah, that's not something you're going to use again. Like, you can't fit it in your refrigerator. So it's not like you can fill it with water, when you're at home.
Right, we're going to make such a big drink,
Yeah, why would you?
Yeah, that's one of those things that it's like...
It's a good idea in the moment because you're having fun.
At the moment, it's like, oh my God, yeah, give me the souvenir cup. But then it's like, but what am I doing with this souvenir cup?
And then you get home and you're like, okay.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You can't even use it like un bocado.
That's how I feel every single time I go anywhere and they're giving away free t-shirts. I'm like, I need the free t-shirt.
But at least a t-shirt, you can wear it like, I don't know, to go to sleep, to wash the car.
Actually, I got a free t-shirt at the car show.
Oh.
Yeah, I filled out a survey. I saw it and I'm like, ay, estos pullovers tan bonito that they're giving out of Chevy trucks. I'm like, I want that. And I asked the lady, what do I have to do? She's like, fill out a survey. I'm like, dale
Done. Let's do it. Let's get it over with.
And my mom filled out one too.
Well, of course. Your mother does want to share her opinions on cars.
Yes.
If there's one thing Neri Borges is apparently known for, it's sharing her opinions in the automotive industry.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But yeah, unruly passengers, screw you.
Yeah, like whatever, dude. Come on.
You ruin it for everybody.
Calm down. You paid for the ticket too.
It's
not like you're flying for free.
I know. Yeah, put them in plane jail.
Yeah, we're gonna put that. We're gonna float that out into the travel industry. Yes.
Look, usually if they put them in plane jail, then there's less room for the.
Oh, for the flight attendants and
yeah.
they have
I'm thinking,
I will
be your purser.
You have to reconfigure the whole plane.
The exits
are located in the front,
at the rear
of the craft.
But yeah, you know what I like to do? This is like a really me thing. As we extend, this is pero let me tell you after the soda. Do you know what I really like to do? This is like a really weird thing I do.
Surprise me at this point.
Listeners, listen up. I love to watch, and they're all on YouTube, and they all have millions of views, so I'm not the only weirdo.
Is this the hotel thing?
No, the hotel thing is what I'm going now. People reviewing hotels in Las Vegas.
Okay.
I love to watch the instructional videos of airlines.
I don't even want to watch those when I'm on the plane.
I love watching them.
But why?
Because I do.
But why?
American Airlines has like a really good one. The
new one's nice.
The new one from Air France is like, oh my God. Like
my favorite is Virgin.
I haven't seen the Virgin one. But then the most famous one is the one from Delta of the lady, the redhead, that she like goes like that. There's no smoking in the plane. If you see it, you'll know which one it is. Sure. It's like the most famous one. She's kind of like a redhead. This is from like the early 2000s.
Okay.
Right? That she's like, tampering with smoke detectors. Mm-hmm. Like
she's being sassy.
Yeah, yes. I love watching, like I love it. Like I've seen them all. Like I've even seen ones from foreign countries. Lufthansa. Like Lufthansa or whatever. Oh, Alaskan Airlines is a really good one.
Do they use like polar
bears?
And
Avianca has a really good one. They're great. Like they're so good. Spirit Airlines does not have one.
They don't?
No, they don't have a TV in their plane.
Oh yeah. Never mind. That makes total sense why they wouldn't have one. Yeah.
If you barely have a seat, do you think you're going to have in-flight entertainment?
No. You are correct, sir. You are very correct.
When you have to travel with one butt cheek hanging,
there's no time for TVs.
Yes.
No.
But I love watching it. It has millions of views.
So it's not you.
It's not me. And people comment on it. And
really?
Yes. It's a thing.
Apparently.
Like, I watch these things and I'm like, when I see the millions of views, I'm like, okay, well.
You're not the only weirdo. Yeah.
I'm the only weirdo because, like, that's very
niche.
Like, I love to watch
airline instructional videos.
I love it.
I guess there are worse things to watch online.
That's like, I spent a couple of weeks ago, because I really go down YouTube rabbit holes.
Oh, yes, you do.
And then the thing is that when I find something I like,
I might as well fucking call you Alice.
I started watching people building pergolas because I love it. And specifically pergolas.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's different types of pergolas. Like,
I'll take your word for it.
Understand? You could do it with different types of wood, like oak, cedar. Like, depending on where you live, the humidity levels. Like, you could do different types of pergolas.
I have no idea what the hell rabbit hole you go down.
Oh,
that ends in pergolas.
I love it. And I also watch, like, I know what flower zone we're in. We're like flower zone 1B.
What does that mean?
In South Florida, yeah. Because when you go to like Lowe's or Home Depot, different flowers are for different parts of the country.
Oh, well, yeah, okay,
because of the
that-
climate.
yes, okay, that-
right. So you have to know what zone you're in, so you could buy the proper perennials or annuals.
Oh.
Right. I mean, you can buy whatever you want, but
But para que florezca, right.
Yeah, you have to know your zone.
Well, I think that's a perfect last, piece of advice we should give people is you have to know your zone.
You have to know your zone.
You have to know your zone. In life, really. In life.
But especially when
with
you want to get
flowers.
the perfect perennial.
Yes. You don't want to plant, gladiolas where it should be galán de noche.
Exactly.
Right.
Los galán de noche se dan aquí. You know what's
I love galán de noche.
But do you know what's a really easy rule of thumb?
A green thumb?
Cualquier cosa que se dé en Cuba se da aquí because it's
That's actually true.
subtropical.
Subtropical.
So el galán de noche se da aquí también.
Es verdad, mira.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any left in Cuba.
Why?
I don't know.
They can eat it.
I don't know. I feel like Cuba's just at this point they're just like out of spite, just getting rid of
Por
things.
eso que la mata de plátano aquí se da también.
Y mango.
Y el mango. Y el aguacate.
Y el aguacate.
Y la palma cubana.
That's true.
Which is also the royal palm, by the way.
Well, because Cubans think they're royalty.
But I literally like, esta es una palma cubana. And I'm in Cuba, I'm like, that's a royal palm. It's like the official palm tree of Florida.
No, you said royal palm. I swear listeners were wrapping up. But this last weekend, I don't know how the subject of peacock came in. Oh, because we were
Pero let me tell you after the soda.
After the soda. Oh, because Halloween Kills was on Peacock, right? And I was like, oh, you guys have Peacock. And I was like, oh. And they're like, how do you say peacock in Spanish? I'm like, oh, pavo real. And they're like, okay, so what does that mean? I'm like, well, a literal translation is like royal turkey.
Oh my gosh. I never thought about it.
You never thought about
royal turkey. I thought about it as real turkey.
No, like real because it has all the colors
Right.
and all the plumage. Yeah.
Oh, my simpleton Spanish mind thought
Real turkey.
pavo real, like un pavo real.
Right.
It's a real
turkey. Right. No, it's a royal turkey.
Is it because it has like
Because of the colors.
right, like royal colors? Like,
Well, think about it. A peacock and a turkey, I mean, looks similar in the sense that they both have the
yes,
fang.
you are listening to Better
This
Than
is-
Color, where we're talking about pergolas, perennials,
And pavo
peacocks.
reales.
Yes. There's no other podcast where you will get
You gotta give us credit for alliterative.
Yes.
For being alliterative.
yes, no other podcast will you will get pergolas, perennials, and pavo real. There you go, people. This is why we're Miami's unofficial podcast.
Oh, God. Let's just wrap it up. I don't
Well,
even know what that
on that note, everybody, happy Halloween. Trick or treat.
Trick or treat. Get some good candy.
Trick or treat. No, don't get the candy from the weirdo.
No. Don't
the
eat.
guy- no,
Yeah,
no,
no.
someone sent home, eh?
No. Make sure it's all wrapped.
Yeah.
You know.
So,
do-
you know what? Okay, no, wait. We have to.
We spoke too soon? Okay.
We could say this because we're Cuban and we're Hispanic.
Okay.
Hispanic people give the worst candy.
Old school Hispanic people, yes.
Yes, old school. Yes. No, not us. because
Right.
grew up.
We grew up here, right.
They give this crappy candy. Like, especially like around my parents' house, like you never got the people. We never had the people. No, when I would hear people that would be like, "Oh, I got Snickers and Kit Kats and M&Ms," I'm like, "You definitely live in un barrio de americano." Porque los cubanos dan the fucking little minty candy,
Everything off brand. They give the strawberry candy.
the strawberry candy, and then
Peppermints?
there's that orange candy, the one that's like the wrapper's like a light
like a
orange.
butterscotch.
Yes.
Which I like butterscotch, but
Yes.
but yes,
But it's not Werther's
but,
original.
But not at that age. At that
Right.
age, you don't.
Right.
Then they don't get like Smarties,
Right.
but they're Smarties, but chalkier.
Right.
It's almost like they're
Right.
Tums.
And when you go to their house, they give you one candy, not un puñado de
Right.
candy.
Which
Like,
I understand one candy if you are giving out like the good stuff.
right.
Because it's so caro.
you get one Kit Kat.
You get one Kit. Exactly.
Snickers.
Coño, I was thinking about the Kit Kat too.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's so terrible. Like, I remember the first time I went to go trick-or-treating in a more Anglo neighborhood, I'm like, pero this is like Wonderland.
It's like Willy Wonka.
This is like Willy Wonka. Yes, this is pure imagination.
This is Halloween.
This is pure imagination. I've been going to the freaking Cuban, Cuban neighborhood, que te dan el caramelo barato, and I'm like, oh.
And it's always sticky.
Yes, and it's always because you know what it is? It's that candy that they buy in a bag that has a little snail in paper. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Okay. It took me a minute to think about it. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Right. That the seals like the papel.
Yeah.
Right. And it comes in like a little stack of like
un little
25
saquito.
little strawberry candies. Entonces cada niño queda one strawberry candy for you and you. And I'm like, pero qué es eso?
Those strawberry candies are always so sticky. Like they melt instantly.
Yeah.
Especially in freaking 100-degree Halloween weather here.
I remember there was one year that we went trick-or-treating. This was in the early 2000s. At a completely different neighborhood, and they were giving out Lindette truffles, and I'm like,
wow,
like one per person. But I'm like,
well, yeah, I mean, when you're figuring out truffles, it's got to be one per person. Yeah.
And if you come to think about it, like if you buy especially like a few packs at Marshall's, you could spend maybe $20-$30 on giving good candy, but $20-$30 is out of the budget of any Cuban.
This is true.
Like,
this is very true.
Te gastas $2-3 comprando
y cuidado.
Y cuidado.
Y cuidado.
Yeah.
Cuidado, because that was probably buy one get one. Okay.
That was always the thing. When I would be giving candy out of my parents' house, my mom would be like, tú le estás dando puñado de caramelo a los niños. I'm like, I gave them 3. Like...
I mean, but you do have to be somewhat, judicious, because what if you get too many kids and then you don't have enough candy?
That is something that our people suck at it. Like, especially the older generation. Yeah. Don't go to a Cuban's house for...
No, we gave good candy. We give decent candy.
Yeah, that's because your parents were raised here.
That's true. They probably had the experience of shitty candy too. So they were like, no.
My parents were like, trigo-trique. In Cuba, there was no trigo-tri. That's
true.
They got totally into Halloween when they were here, but still give the cheap candy.
Yeah. Cuba had the ultimate trick, communism.
Yes. And there was no
treat after that.
No treats after that.
No.
No treat for you.
No.
So, okay, now we're really leaving. Okay, everybody, have a happy Halloween, trico-tri.
Yep.
And remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And thank you for joining us. And we hope you listened, laughed, and learned.
Yes. Episode 180. Cuídense, mi gente.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lomlaplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.